pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining our March 3rd meeting at 7 p.m. So we'll get started with this thing. We've done any public comment on agenda items? Yes, Paul.
Paul Line, 10 Patriot Lanes. Number 4, the congressional grant, the Spindler and High Grove well.
Yes, sir.
We had this conversation before. You said, is there a written agreement with that property owner for to use the Spindler wells?
We are in communications with the Spindler property. It's going to be kind of a multifaceted approach. So we've been in touch with DOH. We've had conversations with them. We've met with the owners of Spindler's property. They're in agreement for allowing us to put together a plan for those wells. And we've also been in contact with the Knights of Columbus for a piece of area easement that is next to near the lift station. And that's kind of what we have at the moment. The idea is to tie the wells together, bring the water across the street.
Specifically for that property?
Yes.
I mean, it's congressional grant. Is grant money gonna go to property that we don't own? So
All that will be worked out
Okay.
as we go through the process. Because they're in favor, the owner was
All right,
okay
that's-
with proceeding.
I just
So-
can't see put money into it. We already did $10,000 repair on something there. You know,
Well,
not too
as
long
you
ago.
know, and during your tenure as well, that well is needed. It delivers at least 2/3 of the water for this village in an emergency situation.
Yeah, I'm just
And I'm
saying,
not,
it could be needed, but if we don't own it, we have to get permission.
The plan would be to have that easement, to have that ability to own it. Those details are still obviously being worked out, but we still need to know from Department of Health that they approve our plan, which is in the process of being written by our engineer.
And on number 2, up there is, can't comment on something that's that vague. I don't know what, you know, is there something that we should know?
Just personnel, that,
Oh.
as you know, we had posted a number of different positions. 2 have been filled, and we're looking for still an AM person for the front desk reception, and we're looking for the water and sewer clerk. So, yeah, she wants to get out of that position. So those 2 are still open. We have received a couple of applications, and we're just giving that update.
Okay.
Perks are, you will know what your bill is before anybody else.
That's right. Anything else? Okay. So moving along right into announcements and discussions, just first on a security camera update that we've been talking about. Finally, this system is utilizing some of the grant money that was obtained by the police chief and the, I'll say, federal state grant. I don't remember the exact term, but the $99,000 is, a portion of that was to buy a server, the hardware, initial cameras, etc. So we're happy to report that the server is up and running, installed, and we do have a camera that is currently live. We have 3 other cameras that are in position, and they're waiting. They have a little connectivity issue, so we're looking for an external antenna for that particular building, located at the Memorial Park. So the sewer plant is online, Memorial Park is next, and we are also planning, obviously, we talked about EJ Square, the camera's up on there for the intersection and areas around downtown, our water area, the wells, and our, let's see, VA, Vern Allen Park, as well as Woodfield.
When you
So
say
those
sewer
will be the
plant,
next
the sewer
targets.
plant, is that by the gate?
I'm sorry?
Is that by the gate, by the hydrant? Is that what you were talking about? When you say sewer plant?
It's in, yeah, it's in the sewer plant area. It's on a pole, and we can see everything we need to see.
We can see the gate.
We can see the gate, we can see the face at the gate. It is a very good, viewable camera.
Smile.
So anybody's there, just give a big smile, say
It's
hi.
a good Zoom.
So, yeah. So
I have a
that's,
question about cameras. Who monitors them, and are they monitored 24/7?
they are potentially monitored 24/7. If something comes up, they're running 24/7. They're buffered, and the police department has access to view.
I know at one other time they were gonna put cameras in, and they said they couldn't put them in because they wouldn't be monitored 24/7.
Well, it's not that someone needs to be looking at that camera 24/7, it's just that it's recording. If something was to happen, then they just go back to that time frame and they'll be able to view it.
Okay.
If the internet goes down, that camera also has the ability to buffer and record while if there was an internet outage of some degree. The length of that I still need to check on, but it will buffer and still record.
Big Brother is watching you.
They have been for years.
Yeah, why stop now? Yeah, but
How long are we recording for? How long are we holding those records for? 30 days, 60 days?
they're 30 days, and then it wipes and it keeps recording, it writes over itself.
Unless we pull it.
Unless there's a need to pull it, yeah. So that went, fairly well, and, so we're very happy that, that all occurred. And again, we'll be building off of that system. We can have up to 64 cameras, and we plan on enhancing some of the cameras that were installed in this building as we see fit and need to. Yes, sir.
Will that change the policy of water deliveries being taken from the hydrant right there? Are they still required to send pictures and whatnot?
They're still required to do what they're doing, and I guess there'll be just further discussion on the weekend type stuff that there would be willing, or that they would like to get water on weekends, especially as summer's approaching. And they're busy still hauling water to companies or people that they're hauling to, so that's, under discussion, still needs to be discussed.
But
And
the policy
we'll
now is
figure it
just
out.
Monday through Friday during business hours, correct?
Correct, yeah, 7:30 to 2:30. And we enhanced the gate by adding an additional lock on it. So at the end of the day,
Was that before?
actually, I think it's 3. 2 are being used, the third one, I'm not quite sure, I never got involved in that one. But at least this one, the one that's on there can't be opened by anybody who thinks they know the lock. Okay, so it's a brand new lock. Simplest way to do it.
What do the other 2 locks do? If people have keys to them, they can open the gate with the other 2 locks.
It's a tumbler lock, it's not a key lock.
No, I understand there's 3 locks.
Okay.
So they can't open the tumbler lock. What are the other 2 locks doing? If you can open from the other 2 locks, what's the difference with the 3rd lock on there? Why don't you
The
take the
third
2
lock
locks
is for
off?
the company who was pulling the water, who had the combination. So that prevents them by mistake coming down there thinking they can pull water, they won't be able to. They won't be able to open the gate.
And they don't have a key for the other 2 locks?
No.
Okay.
Trying to keep it, as simple as possible at this point.
Well, it's out and out thievery what they did.
Sorry?
It's out and out thievery what they did.
Well, they reported it, they didn't steal it, we
Was
know
the
that they
meter
were
on?
there.
Did they send pictures of the meter? Was the meter on the hydrant?
No, we took the meter off because it was freezing.
Correct.
Okay,
So
so
they should have
for
known
the
not to
5
touch it.
truckloads they took 6,000 gallons. That's the maximum in those trucks.
They should have known not to touch it. There
Well,
was no meter on it.
that's a
It's a
given,
criminal act.
that's a given when Paul reported it. We didn't know that, and now we have them on camera. If anything happens, we can go back and double check.
Are they being fined other than the price of the water?
No. We don't have, they have permission to take the water. That we already have given them.
Monday through
Because he
Friday?
was there on a Saturday morning, yes, they're aware of it now, talk to the owner.
They had to be aware of it when you made the rules to it.
Like I said, I spoke to the owner, the person who was doing it either forgot, or, I can't really say. I'll just say that we spoke to the owner, he made sure it reiterated to the staff that they're not supposed to be there on weekends. And again, to protect ourselves, we put an extra layer of that lock, so they will not be able to get in.
That's not the first time they've been up to,
And it might be the last one.
Well, there's no way to get there unless they cut it and then they're fired. So I don't think he's that, his staff is, that brazen to do something like that. If it was an emergency and someone needed it, they call and then we work something out. And if we had to sit there because there was that big of an emergency, then they pay for the overtime. And we work it out.
and that's all in writing, or is that just verbal?
Right now, it would be verbal. We don't have anything in writing for any type of real emergency. But if there was, they would call because there'd be no way for them to get in.
I think we should have that posted and have them sign to it.
Well,
They ignored
we
the
can come up-
first rules you made.
We can come up with any agreement. If there's an emergency, we can certainly put some language together to make that happen. I'm not worried or
Why wouldn't
concerned
you
about it.
preempt it and do it in advance?
I said we can.
Oh, you would, okay, I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna do it at the time of the emergency.
No, I mean, right now, if there was an emergency, if the town had an issue, we would certainly work with them to give them what they needed in an emergency case. If they had a problem, they would have to call us and we would have to work it out to say X, Y, and Z. And, we can't sometimes get all the different possibilities that are out there, but we can talk to our attorney and they can write us an agreement and
No, he's writing
give them
them
something
down.
to do tomorrow. Maybe by the time I leave the meeting, it'll be done and ready for signature.
Beautiful,
No
thank you.
pressure.
No
No
pressure.
pressure, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. You're the best.
That's what
Any
I'm
other
looking for, sir.
questions? Alrighty, so we had the upgrade on the camera, we had the update on personnel. The fiscal stress monitoring system, we finally made it up there. We are moderate, which is one step below, I want to say, a disaster. So, and this is only recorded on the 2024 preliminary AFR report. Okay, that report that we put out there from us to the state. Everything, as we had mentioned, and as Brendan mentioned on his presentation, that all of those are up to date, and we're still obviously waiting for the final audits to be completed. And 23 is nearing the end of more additional documentation, and 24 is in motion. So as soon as that happens, everybody will know what's going on there. And there is, I'm sorry?
We're gonna have a reading,
Yeah, we have a reading, which means we're kind of getting close because we'll be wanting to talk to our financial advisors and talk about potentially going to the state and or the bond market and asking for a bond rating. So that's still to come, but that's kind of the angles and directions we're heading in. Let's see, we talked about the grant that became available. Estimated we probably in an area of 2 million to 2.5 million for both wells to be developed.
Great.
And more to come on that as we get more information on the grant itself. We do have an agreement with Millennium. Is our grant writing firm that we use, which we will have a resolution on that a little bit later down the road, or this evening. Just to touch on a couple of other grants that we've been working on. The downtown lighting and tree project is still moving forward. We have submitted to DOT work project for the installation of the lights and the trees. Trees are really not going to be that much of an issue because there were existing trees there. So when you're replacing a tree, it's not like you're installing a brand new tree. So that really requires a really more information on their DOT permits. Memorial Park, we still have that $125,000 grant, and the Lions Club is working on those figures with the vendors that they're working on for that money. We do have, come springtime, there's a number of new park playground equipment that we need to install. So that'll be happening the spring. Let's see, what else? We talked already about the Department of Justice cameras. That was the $99,000 grant. We are becoming a little bit closer with the pedestrian crossing lights. That is about a $90,000, between an $80,000 and $90,000 grant. Those are the flashing lights that will enhance our downtown area, especially if we get the DOT approval to install them. This would be at the area of Stewart's and the old Bank of America, because it's very difficult to cross that street, and these cross lights have very bright LED amber signals. When someone pushes the button, that these things start flashing like crazy, and it does bring to the people driving their cars to slow down or stop so they can cross the street. The grant is for 5 of them, and as we mentioned previously, we're gonna put, potentially the other project would be down across from the Veterans Park and Washingtonville Pharmacy, because we have a lot of people parking their vehicles there, walking across the street, going to the middle school, the high school. So we'll see what DOT says about that. And then the other remaining ones will be throughout the village. One particularly would be at Ahern and North Street, and then Brotherhood and Cartwheel, and probably one over at the Senior Center on Ahern Boulevard. Those are controlled by us because they're town or they're village roads, so we can kind of manipulate where we want to put those and whatnot. So that is starting to move along. They've received everything, and it's going through its approval process currently, so we'll see.
What grant money is that? Is that money that we already have?
No, it's money where you applied for it.
And it's just for those lights itself?
Correct.
That was the grant? for
Yes,
those lights?
for those lights.
It had to be used for those lights?
Pardon?
It has to be used for those lights?
Well, the grant went in for that, so
For
yes.
any kind of traffic, that's what the grant went in for. We had
Grant-
produced what we wanted to use it for.
Yes. If-
Okay.
In other words, if it went in for those crossing lights, if by chance wanted to change gears and.
I just want to know what the criteria was for that money to be used. Did that-
Yeah.
It wasn't specifically.
It
For so-
it was really just for safety. It started out with 94 in Stewart's, because every time I would be down there,
I got you.
it was
So
a
my-
disaster.
So my comment would be like, crosswalks, we already have rules on the books. It's called the penal law. Use enforcement as a corrective action, which we don't use.
Well, you can't be everywhere, Vinny, and you know that, you were a police officer. You can't say
But I
that every
guarantee you,
crosswalk is
If
gonna
I
be
call the police
maintained and
department, there's
watched.
not one summons down there for yielding in a pedestrian walkway. They're not writing it. Nobody's writing it. And you can sit down there for 10 minutes and just watch, and there'll be a cop on the corner, nobody's writing it. You gotta use enforcement action. And
Okay,
that's why we have a police department. Use enforcement action for the corrective action,
yeah,
but we're not doing it. Maybe, and use that money, that safety money, for other things that we do within the village, instead of putting up a light at a crosswalk where there's already a law in place.
well, we think
Whether
that
there's
those
pavement on the ground,
crosswalks, I'm
whether there's
sorry,
pavement on the ground or a light blinking, people aren't gonna stop.
well, I hate to say that I disagree with that, but I disagree with that.
That's
Because
like
I've
saying,
seen
that's like
them-
saying stop
I've seen
signs
them in
prevent speeders,
Westchester,
they don't.
and I've seen people push those buttons, and people stop. And if they don't stop, and there's an officer there, then, yeah, summonses should be written. But it's also too many people driving around on their phones, not half paying attention.
You're right, and
You
the
know what,
sign is
and
not
if
gonna
this
stop
light
them.
wakes somebody up for that split second so they don't hit a lady crossing the street with a basket, then it's a win-win. And you know what, it's grant money. And I don't take anything lightly with the safety factors.
I'm not saying we don't use the money for safety, but for a light that flashes at a crosswalk, there's other things we can do.
Well,
I kind of agree, because I drive all around Orange County. Go to Warwick, drive down Main Street, somebody steps off the curb, cars come to a screeching halt. It's conditioning, it's the way that people are conditioned, because they enforce it out there. It's so much different. Go to Newburgh, you can't cross Broadway. Forget about crossing Broadway, even with the light and turning cars.
yeah,
But if you go to a place like Warwick, Main Street, somebody steps off the curb, into that crosswalk, cars come to a screeching halt. That's the way, because of enforcement.
Duly
Even
noted.
people opening up the doors. The other thing, on the crosswalk by the Old Village parking lot, we had the DOT, we were with the DOT at that location when Benny's was there,
Mhm.
looking to get a crosswalk there.
Right,
Is it there? No, we're still waiting for it.
okay,
They said they wouldn't do it because it wasn't at an intersection, at a corner.
right,
But meanwhile, down by the high school, you got what, 3 crosswalks
yeah, there's no.
in the middle of
There's
nowhere?
there.
But they wouldn't, you know, she
Right.
indicated, the person from the DOT indicated that they wouldn't put one there because it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, okay. Do you know when you put that application in?
Oh,
Who
my
you spoke
God.
to?
I had, it was 16, 17, 19, 2019, 20.
Do you know who you did for
I'm trying to think of the woman's
DOT?
name. She had beautiful nails.
Oh, wonderful.
That's all I can remember about it.
I'll ask, let me see.
She got the hard hat on,
Probably
and
only about 14,000
she got the hard
employees
hat
in
on,
DOT.
and she's got,
Me.
she's got the vest and everything else, and her nails were like $800 nails. It was unbelievable.
All
So,
right,
yeah, I can see.
We'll note that too.
Young female.
Was her first name Sibby by any chance?
That's right, that's who it was. Yes.
Okay.
You recognize the nails too, Tom?
Actually, I never met her. She's the only person I know. in
But
DOT.
that's exactly who it was. Yes.
Besides a bunch of guys and, well, I can't say they're not.
She must
doing
do the
their nails
area.
either, I don't know.
That was her name, that was it.
Okay, so we'll go with Sibby. Actually, I did email her. I hear though she was retiring. She was gonna open a nail business, I think.
I think so.
So we'll see. See where that goes. All right, cool. Let's see,
Yes.
the grants, I'm not quite sure if we finished it. We also,
Should
And-
mention Miracle.
it's not, is it on your list?
I updated it.
No, I didn't get it yet.
But the new forward.
Okay. So we'll wait on
Just
that.
changed law.
Open enrollment yet, but
Yeah,
that's a $4.25 million grant to revitalize our downtown.
We didn't hear what you were saying, can you say?
Oh, okay, it's called, I mentioned this to you, it's called New York Forward.
Okay.
It's a revitalization grant from the state. It offers 4.5 million for revitalization of the downtown. It's not open enrollment yet, I believe. I don't know when it opens, I know they're talking, it closes in September.
September, I
I
think.
said it closed in September. But
Well, why don't we
regardless,
just look, yeah, we gotta.
we do have to form a committee for that, and we will. And we definitely are interested in that one. We're very good candidates for it, especially since we're just revise our
Yeah.
comprehensive plan.
Okay. Yeah, we'll compare all this, I know that you were working on
No, I
it.
updated it on
I didn't see it.
Microsoft Teams.
Oh, okay, well, we'll look, we'll check, yeah. Just a couple other ones that we're working on, the Orange County Tourism is the $4,999 grant, and we also have Orange County Legislation grant for $4,999 as well. Green County Bank is a $9,000 grant that we're working to, I believe that one, excuse me, was for the Sewell Park project. And the other ones were, one was for our fireworks,
And then Lowe's.
and then we have Lowe's grant for upgrading and doing windows and doors at our police department. So we'll give you that combined list and we'll keep you updated as the grants come through. Let's see, the DMV was here today. Tremendous lines all day long, so it's really a big hit in our village, and I think they're trying to hopefully get us every month. Right now, I think we're almost every other, but it's a really good turnout. Next is just a reminder to shop local, everybody. You know, it's, I know it's real easy to get in a car and drive someplace else, but we have a lot of new stores opening, and it would be really nice for everybody to think downtown first before you jump in the car, or you maybe hit the computer to order things. So for an example, we have a new flower shop at 16 East Main Street. We have Body by Julia that's over at the Brotherhood Mall. Prismatic that we've already mentioned, gifts and really beautiful stuff using the old Chase Bank. The Greek food has been opened now for a little bit. Food there, it's been real good. We're also, there's a new baker called a 5-Foot Baker, which will be coming in behind the Washingtonville Pharmacy area where Anna's used to be. So there'll be a baker back there coming soon. And Amada's, who is currently on East Main Street, will be opening up the restaurant over at Fulton Square. I think they're trying to open a soft opening potentially this Wednesday. And they're still gonna keep their original location downgraded to like a taco bar kind of a place. So,
10% off if you order online.
oh yeah. So if everybody could think about that, again, shop local would be really, really appreciated for everybody down there.
You ever talk to the gas stations?
Excuse me?
You ever talk to the gas stations? Remember that conversation we had at that meeting? I mean, I'm gonna go to Vale's Gate and get gas at 25 cents a gallon,
Yeah.
cheaper
and
than over here.
I think it was mentioned by Dylan. The conversation was gas prices between here at 329.
I was here for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that there is no
It's not gouging.
ceiling.
Yeah, there's a price gouging law, but this
Right.
falls
No, this
nowhere close to the price gouging.
They just,
Ultimately,
just screwing the village residents, that's what they're doing.
but there's no law that prevents them from doing so.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we're just talking about shopping local.
Right.
If they want me to shop local, you know, if the gas stations want me to shop local, I shop local,
I hear you.
not for gas.
Can I say something about that? As far as shopping local there, they are making some efforts, not on the gas, but he pulled me aside the other day and said he'd like to do some advertising because they're gonna accept some nice new food there and they wanna do things for the town. And the
I'm
people
sorry.
that work inside. it's
If
not
I
really-
went for gas, I would go inside.
Pulls you aside, we didn't hear.
The
A plus?
A plus,
And,
yeah.
Okay.
and said what?
He'd like to do some advertising in the new food section that he's gonna do, that's gonna offer a lot of new things.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
the guys in there work hard.
You gotta price the
I don't
gas
think they have
reasonably or
anything to
nobody's
do
gonna
with the
walk
price
to
of
the
the
store.
gas.
I mean, I had a conversation with the owner when he was redoing the signage there. And I was told that he had no control over those prices.
Well, somebody does.
It wasn't him.
All right. I mean, we all see it, we all see the prices, and we all know where to go, what you gotta buy.
Yep.
I mean, it's simple as that. If everybody was the same price across the board, it'd make it easy. When Jersey was 25, 30 cents, 40 cents less than New York, where did we go?
Sure.
Poured right off go down to Jersey and fill up, so, and up here it was $1 more, if not more. So,
Oh, it's like driving to Ulster to get gas
It's-
without ethanol in it.
it's one of those unregulated/regulated things that we gotta deal with. And then, you know, consumer beware. All right, so, again, back to the local shops, again, just think about your downtown areas and please support them. Next is New York Heat Act. It's a Senate Bill, S is in Sam, 2016, and A is amended. Now, I don't know if anybody follows this stuff online, but someone sent me an email in regards to this, and it's Senator Kruger, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and feel free to go on there and search it yourselves, but the bottom line on this bill, it looks like they're trying to end natural gas. Sounds like through New York State. And the bill talks about eliminating gas hookups for homeowners. And the bottom line is, there's more regulations in here about gas hookups, but it just, the flavor of this just tends to be natural gas going away. So I emailed her, asked her specifically, because I told her, my house, I'm electric, I have oil heat, and my bill has gone up 2.5 times. So, not a natural gas user, and how is this gonna help me at the end of the day when I'm already paying 2.5 times more than I was a couple of years ago? So, again, it's S2016A, check that yourself. It appears from what I was able to see that the Senate has already voted to approve. Assembly still has it in their discussion area, so it hasn't moved forward.
They haven't learned their lesson, they have to close an ending point, want more restrictions.
Yeah.
Charge more.
Yeah.
Where's the electric coming from?
So, just to give you guys a heads up on that, a little bit more state information. The other thing I'll just mention that I put on last second, it's really just an update on ITC, our phone vendor. Our new phone system potentially will be installed on the 11th and 12th if we get the okay from the porting of the numbers. It did change? March 25th, so scratch that. All right, so I guess Frontier couldn't port everything over, and then we have elections coming up, and we didn't want anything going on that week, and their installation team was doing another install, and the guy was on vacation. So bottom line is, now we're moving to the 25th, so things will happen at that point in time. And we'll have a new voice over IP system, and the one that we have, we'll have to put in the museum, because the thing is probably 40 years old. So with that, we'll move on to resolutions. So resolution 250038 to authorize general village elections to be held on Tuesday, March 18, 2025 at the single village-wide election district polling place located at the Village Hall, 9 Fairlawn Drive, Washingtonville, New York. The polls will be open from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Have a motion?
Motion.
Steve on the motion. Second? Vern. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And as everyone knows, the Village Hall, there'll be no meeting that Monday because they're preparing this room for the election on Tuesday. If we decide to have a meeting, it probably would be the following Monday, just as a FYI. Okay, motion passed. Resolution 250039 to appoint the following individuals as election inspectors for March 18, 2025, Village of Washingtonville election. So we have Linda Amato, Sylvia Stoops, John Donaldson, Jacqueline Harris, and Maria Lazo. Have a motion?
Motion.
Steve. Vern. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. Resolution 250040 to accept 2025-2026 village property vehicle equipment insurance proposal from village insurance agent Marshall and Sterling at a total cost of $222,541.61. And the 2024-25 cost was $209,435.45. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Steve, second.
Second.
Susan? Questions, comments? All in favor? Motion passes, thank you. Next, resolution 250041 to accept the price quotation from DMS Technical Design LLC for a fire alarm monitoring fee, which includes an annual inspection for a 5-year period at a cost not to exceed $2,750. That would be a cost of $550 per year. Have a motion? Motion. Steve, second. Vernon. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. Next is resolution 250042 to approve the Architectural Review Board application for the 5-foot Baker LLC sign application. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments?
I'd like, you wanna go?
Susan?
Well, with contingencies, there are a couple of things that were omitted from here. This is what we talked about earlier, the 5-foot Baker going to where the old, where Anna's was, in Joe's video. They're following, they have to, they chose to follow the same, signage as what everything else in the orange bagel plaza, orange pharmacy.
Need a name.
So the sign will be the same. The only thing that was missing was we requested that they document the finish on there, so there's nothing like no bright, no semi-gloss or gloss paints for reflection. So that it's not on there, but they're following what's already there. So we can assume there won't be a high gloss finish, but we don't want to assume, so we'll reach out and make sure that
There's
that's the
something in
case.
writing?
And then also possibly the material, I don't know, there was some possible discrepancy in the material. What they chose is permitted. Some may say that what's there now is wood. They do not mention wood here, Durabond instead, so either way, we'll clarify that. Other than that,
Okay.
it will be installed the same way also as the other signage there.
Any other modifications? So with those being duly noted, they'll be followed up. Without any other questions, and on with the motion we have the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Donna, you gonna take the lead on that?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Resolution 250043 to authorize Millennium Strategies to submit grant applications through the U.S. Congressional Directed Spending Grant Program for spinner well development to the village water system and development of High Grove well at a fee of $2,500. Have a motion?
Second.
Steve, second. Brian. Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Resolution 250044 to accept the resignation of village part-time clerk Joan Orman with regrets effective today, March 3rd, 2025. Have a motion?
Motion.
Steve, second.
Second?
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Resolution 250045 to authorize the mayor to execute consulting agreement with P&D Consulting Engineers regarding sewer plant cloth filters. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Susan on the motion, second on Vernon. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Motion passes, thank you. Next is Resolution 250046 to authorize the village treasurer to collect and receive village tax warrant payments for the 2025-2026 village fiscal year. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Donna, second Steve. Any other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. Resolution 250047 to accept bid amount for the Absolute Auction and Realty Company in the amount of $4,700 for the surplus 2016 Ford Explorer Police Inspector utility vehicle. Have a motion? Steve, have a second? Second is Vernon. Any questions, any comments? All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Next is resolution 250048, authorize the budget transfers, amendments necessary to effect the necessary transfers of funds and to pay village warrants. Have a motion? Steve, Donna has the second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? And as we've been doing as of late, the total coming out of the general fund is $115,324.05. Out of the water fund, $29,197.72. Out of the sewer fund is $35,617.36. And out of the capital fund is $11,500, and that's for the memorial camera system. Glad everybody. That's up to you. Okay, that concludes that. Public comment? Sean?
I have 3 questions and 1 suggestion. One is, how many hydrants are out of service? And there are, right now, there's 2 in a row on Decker. That's an emergency situation. The next hydrant is very far away. I called in the first, one of the hydrants on Decker last Saturday. And they put a black bag over it. I didn't go by again until today. The water's still coming out of it, it was never properly shut off. Do they shut it in the street, or are they just tightening the caps?
No, they shut it off at the street, so we
Today?
had a problem with the valve on the
When did they shut it off in the street, though?
when we were notified by the homeowner.
Well, it was still running last Saturday when I called it in.
Okay, so when they went to shut it down, they would shut it down in the street, and obviously there must be an issue with that valve to the hydrant that's not closing 100%.
It still was running today.
Yeah, we're aware of it. We've ordered, now we're probably looking at 6 hydrants that need to be replaced, and that's obviously a priority as well.
There's no way to get intermunicipal agreement and borrow parts until, the next hydrant's far away from the first one that's
Yeah.
out, and that one's
We
out.
actually have the hydrant. It's a matter of getting a vac truck in there, and we were trying to save $5,000 or so. If the town's vac truck was available, if it's not, we're gonna have to go out and rent it, so be it at the end of the day.
Safety first.
Some are evacuable, some are, we can do it a backhoe. That one just happens to be a vac truck job, so we'll get that, you know. But we have 2 there, we have 208, I think there's one on Tower Hill, one at Somerset, the other one at Decker, which is just down from the one that froze and cracked. We have 2 hydrants on Lincoln Clinton, that we're working on, that are showing low pressure. All of them have been reported to the emergency services, so they're all well aware of it. And if there's an issue, obviously they come in with the tankers in. If it's a day call, generally speaking, you usually have 3 towns for 3 fire departments responding. So, you know, I'm confident that everybody will be safe, but, you know, we gotta get it fixed. And the ground being frozen doesn't help the situation, but it'll be what it will have to be.
Needs to be
Thank
done.
you, I appreciate that.
The other question is, who is responsible for the upkeep of the memorial trees on Ahern?
That's a good question, because I look at that sometimes, and I don't know if anybody's ever maintained those trees. In other words, cut them back.
No, the ones that were just put in.
Oh, the new ones that were put in.
Yeah.
Who's gonna maintain them? We will.
Okay, so you'll maintain the trees, but you won't maintain the benches?
No, we're gonna maintain the benches too.
Okay, but you told me you wouldn't maintain the marble bench, that was on.
Yeah, we need, yeah, as soon as it warms up and we know what we got, we're gonna take care of that.
Okay,
And if that's the one bench, or the benches or bench that needs the
bigger pad.
concrete footings, we're gonna put them in.
They should all have it.
Yeah,
But as far as the trees, if people want to decorate them, they should have like 2 weeks after the holiday or the birthday or something. There's still Christmas decorations up there, there's lights strung in the trees.
Mhm.
Doesn't look right. Plus, they're gonna start blooming soon. Then they're gonna be stuck, the stuff's
Yeah.
gonna be stuck there.
They'll be taken down. They'll be
Um,
taken down.
The village should send out a CTY, maybe 2 or 3 days before they go around with the chipper. People don't know. It used to be the last week of the month. Now they could be anytime. But I understand it's windy, so maybe send out the CTY. We're gonna be coming around the chipper next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Yeah, that's good thought, because I did get a couple of calls today saying people had some limbs and stuff from
We're out 2 days
this
last month,
weekend.
last week.
And that we could, we'll go out with the chipper.
But it should only be going out once a month, like it used to.
I'm sorry?
It should only go out once a month, or
It was the last Wednesday.
Well, it usually goes out,
Last
I
Wednesday.
believe it's the last week of the month.
it's
But,
out all different times.
but in cases if it's like this and there's a storm and stuff comes down, then we go back out.
But that's what I'm saying, that's when you
Yeah.
should send out the CTY.
Agreed.
We're coming out, have it ready. And now
Exactly.
you're saying they're calling today, they were out 2 days last week.
Yeah, but that was before this past weekend's wind. So it's just another event. So what I've asked the guy to do is tell me a couple of people on Capitol, so whatever happened, they were a little more windy on Capitol. But I already put a text out to Chris and just to advise him we have more of this, and we'll pick a day and then we'll go out, and, because I think Wednesday and Thursday is rain. So, you know, we'll find a day to go out, but we'll give everybody a couple of days' notice to get the wood on the curb.
And the last one is, I think in the budget, there was $25,000 or $26,000 in it for DPW training. Don't they get training from the Union Hall? I mean, what training were they gonna get with that 25?
There is some training that we do get from the Union Hall that has been free.
Right, usually it's mandatory when you join that you go through your apprenticeship and go to training.
Well, the gentlemen that work for us now, and there are various trades, right? So they come aboard as laborers, and they basically do everything. So as classes come up and we offer that, we also have offered CDL training for the guys, and kind of pushing them to do it, because it only betters them, and at the end of the day, the village can, slide away from all the pickup trucks that they were buying to do the heavy lifting, and we can get ourselves into a position to potentially go after grant money for trucks that are now costing $350,000, which would be axle, things that could carry the asphalt, that can connect to the machines that drop the asphalt. Currently, we don't have that ability, and so we timeshare. We've asked, Montgomery helps us, Blooming Grove helps us, Cornwall's helped us. So, that's what the communities do in helping each other out, because there is some cost savings behind that.
Maybe when you're hiring, which you hired a lot recently, all new employees, a lot of people retired, maybe that should be a stipulation of employment. You need a CDL, you need.
It's in our posting.
Or you're hiring without that.
We have hired because we've waited for people to come along with CDLs, and maybe CDL drivers are making $40 or $50 an hour. We're obviously not offering that type of salary. So what we try to do, hire good quality people, which we have, and then ask them and push them to some degree
Make it
to
required.
take
Right.
your CDL licensing. Right, and that would have to be done within potentially their union contract to say, listen, within a year's time, and we already have that with promotionals. Guys who are in lead positions, if they don't act upon getting their CDL license after a year, they lose their position. So we have
There should be a money incentive, I believe. too.
there is,
Is that right?
we're
So they
paying
must
even
lose that
more,
money.
we're paying, I think, $1.50 for CDL, $3.
An
So
hour.
there is,
Okay.
For the working leader.
yeah, for the working leader, and then for somebody getting a CDL, there's an incentive for it. So, I agree. It's frustrating because we put it out there, we ask for it, but, when we come in and we just ask, like the one guy, we were interviewing somebody right now, doesn't have CDL, he said, but I will get my CDL, because that's how
And we
bad he
did-
wants the
We
job.
did hire one with a CDL.
And we did hire somebody with a CDL. So we have 3 with CDLs and I'd say 8 without. But again, with the stipulation, go get it. The money is there to be trained. and you need to be with us for a period of time, so that, you know, we're not a training platform to have you shift and go find another job. So we just, you know, we're working towards that. If you know of anybody, let us know. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, so you say you're offering the CDL training, is that what that $25,000? How do you offer the CDL training? You outsource it?
Well, it is, there's schools that they have to go to in order to
So, and
become
that's about,
CDL certified.
that's about $3,000.
Right.
And it's more than that these days, Paul.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I know it is, I know very well it is, but it's entry-level driver training and you're not a training provider. So you can't train anymore.
No, they have to go to schools.
Yeah,
Yeah, now we know that.
so is that what that $25,000 is for? Is that the training that we're
If
buying a
someone wants
CDL?
to take the class and
That's
they
a lot of
go
money.
through it, yeah, yeah,
I agree that should be.
yeah.
Okay, police contract ratified?
No,
What? No.
no,
What are we waiting for? The next contract?
no,
Ready to
no.
start
We're still in
negotiating.
that, we're still in that next contract mode. We're dealing with,
I thought you
The
said it was all
attorneys-
done.
just one stipulation, two stipulations, and it's with the attorneys,
Sounds like impasse to me.
potentially.
How about the wells? How are the wells doing? Where are we at now?
26,
26?
26 and a couple inches, and the other one is 27, I think,
We
27.
still using the 30, we still using the cutoff at
Yeah.
30
Yes,
for the sales?
yeah.
I was listening to Jesse Dwyer today, supervisor,
What we listening to?
Jesse Dwyer,
Oh,
supervisor town of Warwick. Something to maybe look forward to going down the road. They lease, they lease, so Enterprise, he's going through Enterprise specifically for police cars. And I heard that the county already rents most, leases most of their cars, a lot of their cars from Enterprise.
mhm.
Or maybe something to look at, going down the road so you can save a couple of bucks or, I mean, the way we, we turn over police cars pretty quick. And we,
Well, the ones we just turned over were 2014s,
yeah,
So they'll be able to
that's
been
good, but
around
I'm
in
saying,
there.
that's what I'm saying.
hovering around 100,000 miles. And the one we just auctioned off tonight has a bad transmission, and what else was
So
there?
you might be able to get better
Yeah.
equipment. You have to look at both sides of it,
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not paying for maintenance.
I know, just trying to remember, and I know you guys were leasing cars, right, 2017, 18, 19 area? You guys were
Oh.
leasing at least one or two cars a year, and they were usually 3-year leases.
Leased cars?
Yeah, at least.
Which ones?
The numbers of the cars, I
Which
don't know,
cars?
but I
Which-
could ask, I could check in with Brian. I've seen the
You mean
lease.
police cars?
Police cars, yes, yes, Yeah.
I don't know, I don't recall it.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the bottom line, so is
Yeah, that's what I'm
leasing
saying, something to
more
look at,
effective than buying?
something to
You
look
know,
at.
we'll see. But, currently, again, with that grant money that we have, Chief has put in for two police cars, so we'll be able to retire, again, the 2 older cars that are in the 90s.
Now, when did the police contract expire?
23,
No,
sorry,
this year,
No,
24,
the end of March of 24.
24,
That's last year.
March 24 or last year?
yeah, about a year.
Almost, yeah, about a year.
Wow. Yeah, and it's only a couple of sticking points. So, we emailed them today,
One of those sticking
seeing if
points,
there'd
the
been any
abolishment clause?
conversation. Sorry?
Is one of those sticking points the abolishment clause?
I don't know, can I answer that, Chris?
I would not answer that.
Can't answer that, sorry.
I think you just did.
I don't know what the answer is, but I'm going to instruct you not to answer that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hi,
Hi. Sewer Park.
yes,
FEMA.
yes.
Event committee asked me to check with you whether or not, how is FEMA doing on it? And if there's not going to be the ability for a pavilion or something there for a band this year, they've been offered by Ken Krug to build one over at Burn Allen at cost.
Yeah, I was talking to the event committee last week, I guess they had their meeting, and then we had actually a meeting Steve and I went to just talk to them about a couple of things. They mentioned Ken potentially building a kind of, I don't know, what you want to call a stand, I guess, for entertainment. And I just got an email from him today, and I'm gonna reach out to him tomorrow and see what, what he's thinking. Because I know he built that structure, altar, whatever you wanna call it, at the St. Mary's. So if it's something similar to that, or, whatever the things. I know right now, just what we had is basically plywood on a couple of frames, and that was like kind of the bandstand area. But at Sewell Park, there is still plans for some type of, it'll be stone, because we don't want it being potentially washed away. And it's off, it's not on the floodway, it's not on the floodplain, so it's off that fringed area that FEMA would be kind of nervous about. So that plan is still moving along. I know that there's been some meetings for fundraisers for the park. As you know, we're putting in for some grant money to see if anything can come up. And then we're just looking for blood, sweat, and tears from volunteers to, build it. Because at the end of the day, it's a pretty simple park, except for the structure that would be potentially, where a band would be playing from, But, it's trees, it's an open grassed area, low ground level, butterfly, bird sanctuary kind of plants, and just a real easy, nice place to go and relax and to listen to music, potentially on weekends.
Also, if we're ever gonna get to a point where there could be like real festivals close enough to the center of the village to help businesses, I'm due to have a meeting with Steve Newhouse. And every time I turn around, he's either overseas or there's a fire someplace, and we just gotta get the time set up that, the work that I've been doing to help support the, Shining Mountain Rail Trail.
Mm-hmm.
And it occurred to me that, and I mentioned it to Bonnie Franson, if there's any possibility in the world that the county would be interested in at least sharing the Spindler, the Spears property and building. Supposedly Brotherhood is leasing at least some of it, I don't know how much.
Yeah.
And there might be a connection with just a short easement that could have some really great stuff going on there. It's very close to the trail.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'm gonna mention to him. And I'm
Okay.
going to ask if I'd like to get a title to do this work and maybe a small grant to be a Shining Mountain Rail Trail ambassador.
Right.
They have, county has tourism assistants all over the rest of the county, and I'm here.
Yeah. I heard the other day, because they had a water pipe break in the building, that there's two people that rent. One was Spears, and I don't remember the name of the other.
Isn't Danny Hennessy mentioned it?
Well, Brotherhood Winery's in there, and I thought he said there was another company in there. Hennessy, I know, uses the old post office area. But, yeah, I mean, good to check out.
Well, and then it occurred to me that, it'd be potential for Brotherhood to keep a part of that, to participate in activities there.
Yeah. Yeah. Depend on, the owner uses it as a stopgap or a transportation hub, I'll call it. Because I believe he's a tractor-trailer kind of guy. He has trucks in and out of there. I think he also leases some spaces to truckers, so, yeah, whatever I can do to help get some information for you, if you're gonna meet with Steve, let me know, I'd be happy to help you.
Bonnie had suggested me taking a walk just to see what the layout is between the building and the trail. I'm a little hesitant about going on private property without getting permission from somebody.
I'll give you permission.
There you go. How about we try to, we'll get you the owner's name, we'll track him down. I think we have a phone number, because we were able to reach him when the pipe broke in his building.
Perfect, thanks.
So we can give you that information. You wanna give me a buzz tomorrow, all right, I'll get you. Yeah, Vinny?
Do we have a date on the comp zoning plan?
Yeah, I gave a whole timeline last meeting.
Yeah, when we're gonna see actually the physical zoning?
Oh, the zoning?
Yeah.
The zoning,
I thought you said
we
maybe
just
possibly-
received it last week. Remember when I was giving the timeline information, I said, oh, we would like at least 10 to 14 days to review it, because then there could be revisions having to be made again,
Okay,
and then it gets released.
and that'll be released online?
Yep.
And what was that? What are we
Off the
talking
top of
about?
my head, I
March?
wanna say
Middle of March?
We're in March.
the end of March,
Okay.
And then March,
because
or
then by early
end of April, I
April,
think we
or we
would
would
be
have the
done.
public hearing,
Right.
and it could be everything done by the end of April.
Okay.
SECR, it gets
Adopted.
adopted.
Well, we'll see it before it gets adopted, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I know it was brought up last meeting about the snow, the way we clear snow into with all the circles now, how we're pushing it to the outside and pushing up on people's lawn. Snow melted on my lawn this past 50-degree weather. I got piles of asphalt, stone, rock, salt, and for somebody who pays a lot of money for water within this village, who has a sprinkler system that I pay and use, it's costly. And we should just go back the way it was done. We would push it in the middle, scoop the
Yeah.
stuff up and bring it out.
I
instead of
spoke
pushing it on
to
people's
Chris
property.
about the example Paul brought up. So, yeah, it was saving time, but if we're causing issues, then we don't wanna be doing that anymore.
Water sales. How are we doing with that this year so far? Where are we at in sales and how much have we brought in?
Got a check today.
Well, we got a check, I think, today for $17,000 or $18,000. I can give you I'll email you the figures tomorrow. But, as you know, we didn't do anything, I think we stopped in
January
halfway
7th.
through November, we didn't do a thing in December, and then we started back up in January. So I think we're all in the $17,000, $18,000 timeframe.
Okay, just speaking of CDLs, this is a great opportunity to push these guys to get a CDL. I went on United Rentals and did it for a year. Tractor and tanker, $80,000 for the year, all right? The amount of money that we would generate for the village would be substantial outside of just selling the water third-party wholesale. So it's another avenue to look at revenue for this village.
From United Rental, it was how much?
80,000, tractor and tanker,
To rent?
yep, for the year.
They supply the insurance or we would?
I just put it in, I'm sure it's like a rental car,
Even how much is the state
You got a
license?
salary, you got
I don't
benefits.
know.
Listen,
Yeah,
if you already have a CDL employee working for the DPW, his main function could be delivering water when they need water. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of money that he's charging the village, South Blue Road spends a lot of money
Yeah,
paying those guys. And we're selling it
okay.
at wholesale. It's a revenue generating.
Interesting
idea.
thought. We just don't know, how long that Spindler's gonna be doing that, and if it wasn't, if it was like a month-to-month type of thing, that's one thing. Tractor trailer is a Class A,
Yep,
so that's a totally different animal to some degree, but we do have A-class drivers.
so, it's an opportunity to generate more revenue within the village. It's just an idea, look at it, do the numbers,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it's gonna work in our favor in the long run. Speaking of the telephone messages, is it possible, I know we got the same people here every meeting, just put it out there, the day of, maybe the day afternoon, there's a village board meeting, with a telephone message?
Sure.
Well, only.
Bring a friend.
But you look at me.
They're gonna dress down Monday on
Bring
Christmas.
Chris with you. He got nothing to do.
I put the link to our website, our official Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. It was in the letter that went to every resident in your tax bill.
Yeah, but not everybody gets a tax bill, if you got an escrow. I didn't get that letter.
Oh.
You don't get the tax bill in the mail, you're not gonna get the letter.
That's true.
That's true.
Need about, close to 1,000, I think.
About 1,000 went out.
Yeah,
I've done that once before also, last year.
yeah.
And I will say, there was a little bit of a surge in followers on the Facebook page.
Just make that phone call, you know, you get one or two, you put your faces in it, that are asking.
We've done it for certain public hearings, we put them out.
Doesn't hurt, you know.
You also got to remember, not everybody signed up for it either. It's like, no matter what you do, there's always something.
We'll send it out. It's easy enough.
You know, something you do.
Anything, Bill?
I just have one question. The 222K for the insurance, that came out we budgeted?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we put it out there, I think.
One other thing, thank you for the DMV. It was nice to
No, you're
not have to
welcome.
go to Newburgh or Goshen.
Yeah, it is nice, really,
Quick, very quick.
yeah.
Just easier.
Okay?
Last question, the grant writing company that we use, we've been using them for a while.
Millennium.
We've had them
2 years.
on the books for about 2 years, yeah.
What's the cost of, we paid them and how much have we gotten back? What's the ratio there?
It's we pay them $400 for prescription, and we have access to all their website information. And Vernon and I were talking about this a little bit this afternoon, and I really have to get back to you. I don't recall. I think we used them maybe 2, 3
This is Millennium Strategy, right?
Yes.
strategy, yes.
So what's the 2,500 then, the fee for this one?
That's
That's
the
the fee to rent the grant.
Oh, the right to grant, so we use them to write the grant as well.
correct. Yeah.
That usually gets paid out when we get it.
Yeah, right.
That's allowable, we can do it?
Yeah.
Any questions in front row? Okay. Anybody else? If not, could I have a motion to go into executive session?
Personnel matters, motion.
Are you coming back?
In favor?
Aye.
Yeah, we'll be back with no decisions, unless you want to stay, that's fine.
We
No
go back to close the
decisions will be
meeting.
made. Thanks for coming, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Never mind.